Chairman.
Grant Roberts.
Chairman, thank you very much indeed for giving me the call today. I want to address a couple of points that the Minister raised in his contribution around the question of affordability of housing and the need for Part 3, because he really was questioning whether or not there was a need for this, and perhaps the Minister and the Chair now might like to respond, because he raised a couple of graphs up in front of the House and statistics that it was felt we needed to know about. Well, I want to draw the Minister's attention to the fact that he's made international headlines today. So a huge moment in Nick Smith's political career. He's made the headlines in the United Kingdom. And I'll just read you, Mr Chair, the first paragraph from an article in The Guardian today. New Zealand has the world's most frenetic property market, with prices in Auckland now outstripping London and possibly dashing the hopes of British buyers hoping to escape Brexit. So Nick Smith is now causing a crisis and chaos not only in New Zealand, but also in the United Kingdom. He's gone global, Mr Chair, with his chaotic ways. What the rest of this article goes on to tell us is that New Zealand has actually managed to be awarded a silver medal, which has been upgraded to a gold medal by Knight Frank, who have put together international house price rises around the world, comparative graph. If you do it without looking at it in real terms, Turkey tops the list with 13.9% price increase. New Zealand is second with 11.2%. But if you put it into real terms, gold medal winning performance from Jerry Brownlee and the National Government. The relevance here from Jerry, the relevance question. This is about affordable housing, and the world is telling Jerry Brownlee New Zealand is getting to be the most unaffordable place in the world for housing. Now, I do have to have a caveat. That was today's news that we got the gold medal. Yesterday, we got the information from the OECD that New Zealand has the second most overvalued housing market compared to rents, and the second most overvalued housing market compared to incomes. So silver medal winning there, but gold medal winning in the latest numbers from Knight Frank, which is why, Mr Chair, the Minister was wrong in his intervention when he said everything was fine, nothing needed to change, because he's got a contradiction going on here, which is that on the one hand he's telling News Hub today that the Auckland housing situation is out of control, but on the other, that nothing needs to change. Excuse me. Because this is what needs to change, which is Part 3 of the bill. Because throughout this debate, whenever we have managed to pry a national member or minister off their seat to get up and talk to us, they've told us that while they understand all these problems, they don't need to do anything different. Well, it is indeed the definition of madness to keep doing the same thing and expect the outcomes to change. And that's the problem with this bill. Now, we've just had a sigh from the Minister and the Chair, and I do feel sorry for her having to sit there now because Nick Smith's housing policy is so chaotic, so out of control, that the government had to bring a bill here to correct various mistakes he's made and opened up the opportunity to actually have a debate about things that will make a difference to the supply and affordability of housing. Part 3 does that. So the Minister, who was in the chair, came down to this House and tried to deny the reason for this. Mr Chair, it is plain to all of us on this side of the House that Part 3 fulfils that. I want to now go through section 50U2 to talk about the elements of what this kind of affordable housing development would look like. And in particular, I want to talk about the notion of the importance of houses being sold to first home buyers and not used for speculation, because that's the big difference between Part 3 and Part 1 of this bill. Because Part 1 of this bill is the National Party's view on how one does this, which is that you simply create these special housing areas and hope. Hope for the best, hope that actually some form of affordable housing might be delivered in there. Don't do anything to make that happen. Don't show any leadership. Don't recognise that there's market failure. Just hope. Have faith in the great grand housing market to deliver affordable housing. It's not working, it's not happening, and that's why Part 3 is necessary.
A point of order, the Honourable Jerry Brown.
Mr Speaker, Mr Chairman, in the spirit of generosity, I seek leave for there to be a question time at 2 p.m. today, notwithstanding urgency, and for there to be a third reading of the Housing Legislation Amendment Bill to be taken from 4 p.m. today, and at its conclusion the House resume with government orders of the day.
Is there any objection to that suggestion?
No question.
There is objection. Well, the House doesn't agree. Chris Hipkins.
Thank you very much, Mr Chair. Mr Chair, I'm not surprised the government want to cut this debate short, but I thank them for this opportunity to bring forward the Labor Party's comprehensive plan to deal with the housing crisis. Because while they may not have any ideas for how to deal with the significant issues facing New Zealand, we do, and we welcome this opportunity to debate them. And I particularly welcome this opportunity to debate Phil Twyford's amendments.
I'm just going to interrupt the member because we are coming up to 1 o'clock, and I do want to indicate that I was convinced by the Leader of the House to do something which was improper, and I want to apologise to the House. I should not have put that leave because it's only leave that could have been taken in the House and not in the committee. But time now is to have some kai. I will resume the committee at 2 o'clock.